you won't be happy with us. But I don't do it anymore. The culture does it. The teams do it.
Right.
Most of our teachers are not gifted indoors, so what would be the best approach?
Well, you still can do differentiated instruction. And like I say, we became a school to watch without being heterogeneously grouped. We had got rid of the very low class. And so average was as low as it got. But then you had the honors class. But now with my gifted, I do want to tell you this. During ELT, 3 days a week, which is that extended learning time, during that time, we have it 5 days a week, but 3 days a week, they go to either a gifted, and then I went ahead and pulled some honors. We have gifted and honors ELT, and they work on the grade level above. Because in the classroom, my gifted students are just taking grade level curriculum and taking it deeper, okay? But when they go to that resource class, they're working at the next grade level.
Now, I need to tell you, I'm in Fulton County.
Right.
And Fulton County has the gifted model, which is the pull-out model for middle school in 6th and 7th grade. And we do not have any basic below-level classes. They're on level, and we do have some advanced classes. And when the Lighthouse Committee came to us, because that is out of my control,
right,
because it's the Fulton County model,
system.
The committee knows that, and they cannot penalize a school because of a school system policy.
Right, but it has to be the system policy.
In the 8th grade, we only have pull-out for social studies. The science, the advanced science, is a mixed model, so you've got children who are in the gifted program and children who just are eligible to take the advanced class are together. It's not a separate class for gifted children. That and language arts, we have a mixed model. And math has never been, math is just, if you can do those advanced or accelerated classes, you're in them.
How do you deal with the children in your incoming 6th graders that are not on level?
They go into an on-level class and we differentiate.
That's what we do.
Work their tails off to get them up.
But we also have like reading connections and math connections. We also have reading and math ELT. Now we will start during those first 6 weeks of school. We have specific units that we teach them during ELT, and they stay in home base on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And what they'll learn is about brain research and motivation theory. Anything that we're wanting to get out there to them, they learn on those 3 days, the first 6 weeks of school. And then we will have split them based on CRCT scores, but I like to give them about 6 weeks because I need my teachers to tell me how they're performing now. And so then we split them, and when gifted and honors goes to their resource, when those students go to resource, then some students will go to math ELT, some will go to reading ELT, and we have Read 180, Power Up. We have a lot of different programs that we use with them. And then in math, we're using ClassWorks, and with special ed students, we're using something called Alex. And it's got a lot of good material coming out of it, research coming out of it. Then the other students will go to, like in science, they may be working on science fair projects. And they do a 3-week rotation with them. These other children don't come out until they've worked through the program and they say they're ready to come out.
So your gifted students receive their service through the resource time?
And we also receive it on team time. I mean, you can get paid for twice a day plus that ELT resource. So even though they're going in 5 gifted endorsed teachers' classrooms, we get paid twice for gifted, okay? Then they get the gifted resource. So it brought a little money in. I hadn't seen it, but central office did.
Could you comment briefly on Read 180 and also how to pay for Read 180?
All right, Read 180 is something new that's about to come to me, and they're buying it out of a grant. We've been using Power Up, and I'll tell you why I went with Power Up. And Power Up's effective. It's just Read 180 is like the Cadillac, and they said that they buy it for me out of this grant. And I said, good, go ahead. Because when I priced it, I wanted it for 90 students. It was $110,000 for 90 students, and that was probably 6 years ago. And so I said, well, let me look at Power Up. Because when I looked at Power Up when I was at the Gacy's, GASIS over in Athens with GASSP. It's the curriculum supervisors group with Gail. When I was at their conference over in Athens, I saw Power Up. Well, Power Up is the same thing. There's a teaching model to it. There's a independent reading model to it. It's the same full models that are in Read 180. For 90 students, it was $33,000. And at that time, I was a needs improvement school, and I had the money rolling in. In fact, I said, you know, that was one thing when I came off the list. It liked to kill me. I was getting $385,000 a year, and I was about to die because that money was hard to give away. But because, see, it made my staff proud, and that's one reason I went after school to watch. And we also Brim School, and we won the bus tour, and I went after Sykes for the first time in the community, if anything other than the high school. And the reason I did that was because they were working so hard, and we were, the growth to start with was minimal because we had so far to go. We had 35 people that needed to get out of there, and it took us about 5 years to get them out. And, I mean, you just have that. You have the people that are going to stay and work and those that are going to start looking for a job because they don't like it. And so when you really turn a school around, that doesn't happen fast. If it happens fast, something was already in place for it. But it's, the money comes from, we're a low-income school. So Title I, when I went from target assisted to school-wide, and I don't even know if they do target assisted anymore, but we went to school-wide, and that opened up the money for everybody. Gifted, talented, rich, poor, it didn't matter. And so I did that the first year I was there. And like I say, I'm going into my 15th year. And our school improvement plan guides everything we do. It guides the money, it guides the professional development. We live that thing. The National Middle School Toolkit, we do it about once a year just to see where are we, what's our program looking like. It's an excellent program to do. You do it online with your staff. I make them go into a lab and sign up so that I don't know what their answers are, but they can tell me whether everybody's done it or not. And because I want everybody to have a voice, because that's one thing you want to do. Wouldn't you agree, Elizabeth? We're going to move on, if it's okay with y'all, unless you'd rather do the question answers. We're going to look at the document. And I want you to turn to the document, and that's the first page on the document. And you're going to look at, I think, 2 pages of academic excellence, okay? There are 8 criteria to look at. So it's the first 2 pages of that rubric. The academic excellence. I want you to read it, and I want you to have at least one sticky note to bring over here of something you're doing at your school that qualifies for one of those. And you're going to have more than one, I promise you. We did too. It's like, here's what we put. Elizabeth put the use of rubrics. Student-made rubrics, teacher-made rubrics. They're all using rubrics. And exemplars. So you're posting your exemplars. You take that exceptional work, post it. You do a lot of posted work. That's one thing they'll get you for on your revisit or even on the first visit is student work posted and is the feedback connected to the standard. ID units, desktop stores, Starbucks are some things that she put for interdisciplinary units. One of the best places to watch interdisciplinary teaching, if the new principal continues what she has set up, are her interdisciplinary units. It's some of the best you'll ever see is at Webb Bridge. And then I put up here the co-teaching, I'd say out of now I have 122 special ed students, and out of that 122, probably 93, 94 of them are in the regular co-teaching classrooms. We put very few students in resource, very few. And then team time ELT is another time where you're giving them multiple opportunities to succeed. That's real big in academic excellence, that everything's equal, that children all have the same curriculum, that it's a strong curriculum. You've got to have high standards. You can't just be teaching to the middle. So look at that and write down something on your, because you really need to learn this thing. Feel like y'all do.
And you got 8
Eight things to look at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
As many as you know, you'll be rattling them off pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, you will be. When you get ready to really do it, you'll go through it on every one of them. You'll start writing down stuff you do. And when we get through, you can't even read the
Look
thing.
at number 7.
All right.
The students are provided the support they need to meet rigorous academic standards. All right, do you have co-teaching or collaborative resource models? Yeah, surely you do that. What support and intervention classes do you have? Do you have before and after
Like
school
connections, ELT,
Yeah.
lunch and learn.
Yeah, we have an extended learning program, an after 3 program. We do
Right.
live sessions every week. Those are no-brainers. Every
We do
school has
Saturdays,
those, so put them down.
Yeah.
Do you have homework centers? Do you have a working lunch? We have a working lunch so kids that don't do their homework
Right.
come and
We call it lunch and learn.
there are lots of things. So, that one's an easy one. What do you do for kids? You'll be surprised how much you already have that you're doing at your school that will get you a check on.
Right, and if you have something real strong in that bullet right above there on progress monitoring, whether it's in all classes or not, if you have something real strong with progress monitoring with the RTI right now, and if you've got at-risk students, you've got RTI going on. If not, that's another thing they're going to look for. It's a strong RTI program. And now we have developed probably over the last 5 years, I'm trying to think when that was that I was up now, 07. Probably the last 5 years.
Number 8, that very last one, the professional learning community employs coaching, mentoring, and peer observation as a means of continuous improvement. That was one thing that we were pretty weak on. We just didn't have a lot of peer observation. I got to go in all the rooms, it was great, but the teachers didn't. So that was one of our stretch goals. After we got the original Lighthouse, we put that as a stretch goal to have a real formal program for teachers to go in and observe other teachers. And it's worked beautifully because those 8th grade teachers go into the 6th grade and go, oh my goodness, I can never teach these 6th graders. But y'all have really, 6th grade does so much to get them ensconced in the school culture.
Right.
How to walk down the halls, how to open lockers, those kinds of things that 8th grade teachers aren't going to mess with. That 6th grade teachers spend hours on that.
Right.
And they're nurturing, and those 8th grade teachers are, don't you know how to open your locker? What do you mean? So that's a biggie, the peer observation. If you don't have one of those programs, it's a wonderful thing to start. And we made it optional. It is not mandatory.
At my school it is. It's part of our school improvement. But it's just like the collaborative planning. When we first made it mandatory, there were a few that didn't want to go, and now they'd kill me if they didn't have more. In fact, we've added another day of collaborative planning across the grade level. But what we do during peer observations is they do a 20-minute, we actually give them the form that they can complete. And they come back and they do a debriefing with the instructional coach at some point in time. And they really, this year, I learned something last year, because last year was the first time it was mandatory because it was just too sketchy. The ones that needed it weren't getting in there. The ones that didn't need it were getting in there. So we just said, let's make it as one of our strategies on resource development, part of our action plan. And so if you're not a veteran teacher, you have 2 peer observations you have to complete by November. And then if you're a new teacher, you have 4.
You don't have a school program?
A what?
A comprehensive school program, like DI, core knowledge, IB.
No, you know what I'd say ours is? It's right here. School Watch. It's the Lighthouse, and you could use the Brim model that really was a takeoff from NASSP. There's a little bit of rip between, not really a rip, but Petty Kenny's with NASSP now and NMSA. Their Brim book really just took School Watch stuff and made it into 4 categories and just made them something different. But
they're going to town over here writing stuff. Are y'all ready to post?
Yeah.
All right, let's post them and then we'll go to the next section.
Just get up and put them under academic.
Just put them up there.